Welcome to this explainer. We're unpacking the mystery at the Lotus Lake, omens, carnage, and restraint. So let's just dive right into it, because this ancient narrative kicks off with what feels like a full-blown apocalypse. The text really doesn't ease us into the action here. It drops us right into a scenario where the world literally seems like it's ending. Frightful meteors began to shoot with thundering sounds, and being enveloped by darkness, the sun became pale. Think about that imagery for a second. Shooting meteors, thundering skies, the sun just totally washed out by sudden darkness. If you're standing there on the ground seeing this, your gut reaction is, for sure, that some sort of massive cataclysm is unfolding right over your head. And it's just this incredible sensory overload, right? The text specifically calls these out as evil omens of battle. We're talking piercing, violent winds kicking gravel everywhere, the earth actually trembling beneath their feet, and showers of dust raining down. The very edges of the heavens turn this terrifying red, and the local wildlife, the beasts and birds, just start shrieking. It's a masterfully crafted scene of universal disruption, total chaos where everything is just swallowed up by the dark. So experiencing all these terrifying phenomena, King Yudhishthira, who is known as Dharma's son, steps forward with this incredibly urgent question: who is it that will overcome us? And, that's a completely logical reaction. When the earth shakes and the sky turns red, a wartime king is naturally going to assume his people are under some kind of massive imminent attack. He immediately tells his brothers to gear up, figuring they're about to have to fight for their lives. He is literally preparing for the worst-case scenario. But then, the whole narrative pivots. Just as the king is looking around to rally his forces, he suddenly realizes his brother is missing. And not just any brother, Bhima, the mighty repressor of foes, a guy famous for doing dreadful deeds in battle. Yudhishthira turns to his queen, Krishna and the twins, and asks, is Bhima intent upon performing some great feat? He's suddenly wondering if Bhima is out there doing something so crazy it's actually triggering these apocalyptic omens. So just like that, our impending doom scenario turns into a really tense missing person investigation. At this exact crucial moment, Queen Krishna steps in and solves our first big clue. She confesses that she's actually the reason Bhima took off. She explains that this incredibly beautiful rare flower, the Saugandhika lotus, had blown over to her in the wind. The text describes it as a rare, unearthly, variegated, and fresh flower. And, well, she had shown it to Bhima out of love, which sets up a completely unexpected twist to this whole mystery. This perfectly captures the delicate, honestly kind of romantic motive that set off this whole terrifying chain of events. She quotes what she told him: "If thou canst find many of this species, procuring even all of them, do thou return speedily." She just wanted more of these pretty flowers. It's such a stunning contrast, isn't it? The meteors, the shaking earth, the screaming animals, all triggered because our unstoppable hero, just wanting to make his queen happy, charged off into the dangerous northeast on a flower-picking errand. Once he hears this, Yudhishthira doesn't hesitate for a single second. He immediately organizes this rapid, magical pursuit to track his brother down. He knows they need to fly, especially since some of the brahmanas with them are weak and fatigued. So, step one, he summons the Rakshasas, specifically calling on Ghatotkacha, who he compares to a celestial. Step two, he orders them to physically carry the tired brahmanas and Queen Krishna. And step three, fly swiftly through the sky straight toward Kuvera's Lotus Lake, which is definitely where Bhima headed. And they absolutely had to have this magical airborne assist to have even a ghost of a chance of catching up. The text is super clear about Bhima's physical stats here. He's unmatched, swift as the wind, leaps into the sky and clears ground like Vinata's son. A normal search party on foot? No way. They would never reach him in time to stop whatever massive conflict is causing the sky to literally rain dust. Okay, so guided by the Rakshasas and the great sage Lomasa, the rescue party finally touches down. And at first glance, it sounds absolutely serene. A romantic lake completely covered with lotuses, surrounded by these beautiful, lush woods. It really does seem like the perfect spot for a romantic quest. But as they look a little closer at the shoreline, they realize that beauty is completely deceptive. The reality they discover is just shocking. The omens weren't lying. Bhima hadn't just been peacefully picking flowers. He had unleashed absolute carnage on the local guards of the lake. We're talking slaughtered, large-eyed Yakshas scattered everywhere, bodies smashed, arms and thighs broken, heads completely crushed. The sheer, brutal physical violence of this scene perfectly explains why they were hearing explosions and feeling the earth shake miles away.
And right there, smack in the middle of this slaughter, they find him. This is where we see the ultimate clash of archetypes. On one side, you've got Bhima, angry, biting his lip, mace upraised in both hands. The text literally compares him to Yama, the god of death at universal dissolution. Total brute force. But on the other side, you have King Yudhishthira. He doesn't draw a weapon, he doesn't scream. Instead, he walks right up to this terrifying enforcer, embraces him, and speaks sweet, calm words. It's the ultimate picture of diplomatic grace stepping right into a war zone.
Now, instead of patting his brother on the back for single-handedly wiping out an enemy force, Yudhishthira immediately de-escalates. He reprimands him, saying, "O Kanteya, what hast thou done? Thou shouldst never again commit such a rash act, nor offend the gods." It's this incredible moment of restraint. It's a huge reminder to us that true leadership often means choosing morality and respect, rather than just celebrating a really shallow brute force military win. And let me tell you, that diplomatic intervention happens right in the nick of time. Because at that very second, massive reinforcements show up. These huge-bodied garden warders arrive at the lake, fully equipped with rock weapons, completely ready to avenge their fallen comrades. A second, even bloodier battle is teetering on a knife's edge. But then, they see Yudhishthira the Just. They see the sages, the twins. And they are so struck by the dignified, non-threatening presence of this group that they instantly drop their hostility and bow down in complete humility.
So, diplomacy actually wins the day. Thanks to Yudhishthira's swift, peaceful intervention, the whole conflict is resolved without a single drop of extra blood being spilled. The warders are pacified, the Rakshasas are satisfied, and ultimately, with the blessing of Kuvera, the lord of the lake, the Kurus get to stick around. They actually get to dwell pleasantly on the mountain and enjoy the very lake they nearly went to war over.
It is such a fascinating narrative arc, taking us from the literal brink of the apocalypse right back down to a peaceful mountain getaway. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this to chew on. When you picture Bhima and Yudhishthira standing on the shores of that blood-stained lake, which one is truly more powerful? Is it the sheer, terrifying physical strength to destroy an army all by yourself? Or is it the calm, diplomatic wisdom to prevent a war before it consumes everyone? Think on that, and keep exploring the incredible depths of these ancient texts.